Okay, so I think okay, so the recording is also started, so I'll try to record all the lectures, and if I just forgot about it, just tell me about it, I'll start the recording. Okay, so I'll try to maintain a playlist of the lectures, and I will share the link of the playlist of your specific group to the to LMS. Okay, so just watch there at the LMS, you will find the course plan as well as other information uh, related to your components. Okay, so just let me share the screen and I'll share you the basic plan and basic syllabus. Okay, okay, so as you know, your computer networks is one of the core subject in computer science, and there are many concepts that are here that can also be used in other subject. Okay, I'll tell you about it. So this is the core subject, and the structure is 302. Okay, so there is no tutorial, but there is a lab that will be there every week. Okay, so the total credits are 4, and the course learning objectives are based on the part of the syllabus that we are covering. So the first course learning objective, if you've seen, it's the functionality of different layers of network architecture. Okay, so what exactly is the meaning of network architecture? What exactly is it? Don't worry about it. We will cover each and everything in detail. The second course learning objective is analyze the requirement for a given organizational structure and select the most appropriate networking architecture and technologies, subnetting and routing mechanism. So it is just talking about that you will be able to make a simple organization with working internet connections, and how to connect each devices by using subnetting, supernetting, all that concept and routing. Okay, so don't worry about that. I know that you will not understand anything right now because we are at the starting, but after after some lectures, I think you will get to know that what we are doing. Okay. And the third is illustrate network layer protocol, data link, all of this thing I will tell you about it. Okay, so the first thing first is that if you have any kind of a doubt, I'll I'll stop for a little bit of time after 15 or 16 minutes to check the chat box. If there is any doubt, you can post your question in the chat box. I will get to this question and explain any if you have any doubt. Okay. And other thing, if you if you have the doubt after the lecture, yeah, and the recording is also there after watching the lecture, if you still have any kind of a doubt, you can just mail me your doubt, or you can just chat with me on Microsoft Team. And on the other way, I also host a LMS forum every week. If you have any doubt, you just post your doubt on the LMS forum, and I'll try to answer it one by one if you have any kind of a doubt. Okay, so every week there will be a LMS doubt forum that will be hosted. Okay, so first of all, I'll just the syllabus is it's I think it's not a very large syllabus, it's a very small syllabus. I think the first module deals with the introduction on the basic design of networking. Okay, so here if you seeing the in the introduction section, you are finding network structure and architecture. In that architecture there are these two architecture. Okay, so specifically I am talking about this. Okay, so all the modules that are you are seeing, all the modules. Okay, so this OSI reference model is the base of computer network. Okay, so what exactly do I mean by that? The networking is divided into 7 layers. Okay, so the OSI reference model is based on these 7 layers, and whatever is the functionality of these 7 layers. Okay, so I'm just writing the first name of it. This is physical layer, this is data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, application layer. So whatever is the individual functionality of this layer is given in your syllabus part. Okay, so if I talk about local area network, it's a part of a data link layer. Okay, so if I'm talking about ring topology, it's also a part of the data link layer as well as the physical layer. Token passing, token rings, or all of you what you are seeing is a part of these layers. Okay, so the OSI reference model is in the starting, I will just provide you the functionality of what exactly is a OSI layer model, and I'll provide you a brief description that what exactly each layer is doing. Okay, so after that, all the detail of each layer is given in your modules. Okay, so if you're seeing in module 2, all the things that are related to your physical layer and data link layer is given here, and in module 3 all the things that are discussed in your network layer and transport layer is given in your module 3, and all the remaining layers, session layer, presentation layer, application layer, functionality is given in your module 4. Okay, so the most important part is if you understand what if you will just understand the brief description of a OSI reference model, then you will understand that what I'm talking about. Okay, so the syllabus is based on this OSI reference model and TCP/IP protocol suite. Okay, so it is one and the same thing. When I discuss about these two, you will know that what exactly I'm talking about. Okay, so the syllabus is straightforward. All the modules that you are seeing are a part of OSI reference model. Okay, so we will discuss each and everything in detail. Okay, so now I also have to give you the evaluation part here. I think the course plan is here. Okay. So this is your evaluation component that is given here. The first evaluation component is definitely your continuous evaluation, lab evaluation. So the instruction related to that, how your evaluation will be conducted, will be given to you in your labs. Okay, so if you have attended lab, you know about this, that how your marks will be evaluated. And there is end-term lab evaluation. You know about this, that we will give you some particular kind of a question, and this particular test or a quiz or a lab practical will be based on whatever is discussed in the lab. Okay, third is your assignment. So any assignment can be given to you. It's only of 5 marks, so it's I think all of you can get 5 out of 5 marks, so it's kind of a free marks to you. Okay, so the quiz will be based on whatever is discussed in the class, and it is of 15 marks. So I think 3 quizzes out of best of 2 will be given to you. Okay, so if you have 3 quizzes, so best of 2. If you have 4 quizzes, best of 3. So most probably it will be three quizzes, and best of 2 will be calculated from there, and midterm and end term is just a part. Okay, so there is no Viva component here, so don't assume it. There is no Viva component here, only the components that is given here. Okay. Okay. Now, before going deep into the syllabus, that discussing about these particular things, that what are the concepts and goals of applications of networks, what is network structure, what is network architecture, I am assuming that you do not have any basic knowledge of a computer network, how it is working, and what exactly is a network, what is the definition of that network. I am assuming that. Okay, so I'll start from the ground up. I'll discuss each and every part of it. I'll go from the bottom of everything. Okay, so I'll start from the basic and go to very advanced level. And if you have any doubt, I just tell you, just let me know in the chat box. I'll get back to the chat box like 15 or 16 minutes. Okay, so I'll take a 5-minute break and take a look at the chat box. If there is any question, I'll get back to that question. Okay, so now before going into the detail of it, I just want to discuss it with the simple functionality, that what is a computer networks, and what exactly how exactly the communication between two devices takes place. Okay, so this is a very basic thing, because if you go into the lab also, there will be the first experiment is to connect two devices between each other. Okay, so you have to know about how exactly a network is formed, what exactly is a network. Okay, so there are some terms that you will see throughout your book if you're following a book. So I'll tell you the book to follow, that is your Behrouz A Frozen, that is also given in here. Okay, so okay, so this is a Bible of computer networks. Okay, so this book is so well written, and it is covering every concept of computer network so detailed in so detailed manner. Okay, another book is Tannenbaum. It's also very good, very detailed. Some topics in Tannenbaum uh, are given in such great detail that they are not discussed in Frozen book. Okay, so they are both good books, but you if you refer to this one, it's also fine. Okay, so another thing is apart from these two groups, there is something called RFCs. Okay, so I also refer to this RFC. RFC are official documentation related to any network standard. Okay, so so suppose if I am discussing about a subnetting, so you write on the internet RFC subnet. Okay, so you will find all the detail regarding it in RFCs. Okay, so RFC are the official documentation that is maintained by your international standard. Okay, so if you have any kind of a doubt that is not solved in the book, you can refer to any RFCs, because RFCs are periodically updated, and all the latest thing you will find it here. Okay, another thing, if there are also some sites, and there is specifically a site called Cisco. Okay, so in Cisco standard there are also some Cisco standards that I will refer. Okay, so these are four resources that I will be referring. You can also refer to it if you have any doubt. It will be clear to get to know that what exactly nowadays what exactly is going on. So that is your that is your standard that is set in now. Okay, so now there are some terms that before diving deep into it, I just want you to know that what exactly are these terms. Okay, so you will find these specific terms. The first term is protocol. The second term will be your IP address. Third term will be your host ID. Hello. Yes, yes.
Which was the second book?
Tannenbaum. Okay, Tannenbaum. Okay, so I'll just show it to you. Andrew S. Tannenbaum.
Oh, all right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so the fourth thing that is again widely used is network ID. Okay, so these are the 4 and 5 terms that you will readily find in any book if you take up. Okay, so another thing is what exactly is a network. Okay, so there if you do not come from a computer science background, still these words will make sense to you. Okay, so network is what, if you're not thinking from a computer science background, network is just an interconnection of different people. Okay, so I call it a network of people. When different people are connected to each other and they communicate with each other, this is kind of a network. Okay, so in terms of computer networks, when different computers are connected to each other, this is called a network. Okay, so suppose this is a network. Okay, so the network can be suppose I am taking a network of BSNL. Okay, so it can be the network of Airtel, it can be the network of BSNL, it can be the network of Jio. Okay, so there are many networks exist, and they are operating at a different frequency. Okay, so suppose I'm a subscriber of a particular network that is a BSNL. So there is also another network that network is allotted to Jio. Another network is allotted to Airtel.
Hi,
Okay, so in particularly this network, that there are many hosts that are connected to each other or that are present inside the network. Okay, so suppose this is you and you are opening a computer. Okay, so this is I'm just uh, what exactly these are your hosts in a network. Whatever is devices is connected to this network is called a host of this network. Okay, so what is a host? Whatever devices is connected inside a network, so it is connected to this every devices that is present inside a network, they will be called as a host. Okay, so inside this host, so I'm talking what exactly is a host. Host will be your computer your smartphone, your machine, anything. So I'll just naming is at a machine. Okay, so most probably it will be a computer. I'm just take because I'm concerned with the computer network. So computer will be exactly computer is also a also smartphone is also a computer, and any other device that can do networking is a computer. So I'll just use the common name, that is a machine. Okay, so this machine is also a host, and in that host you are sitting there. Okay, so what you do, I'll tell you what you do. You just open up a browser, open up a browser, and I call this browser as a process. Okay, so when inside a computer, when you open any process or any application or any program, I'll call this particular thing as a process. Okay, so this process is running at a very unique thing, that unique this process, because if you see your computer, I'll just show you. Okay, so if you see in your task manager, and if I just uh, load it. Okay, so there are many processes like user services and user and services that are running here. Okay, so if you are seeing here, there is a process ID related to each app. If you're seeing, these are system app, and there is a process ID that is associated with not every app, but to definitely those app that we need. Okay, so if you're saying this is PID is your process ID. Okay, so specifically in networking, when we are communicating with other devices, this particular thing is called as a port number. Okay, port number. Keep in mind that I have used only three things. First thing is you are in a network. So network can be of any internet service provider. So that can be a BSNL. Inside this network, whatever is connected to this network is called your host. Okay, so this network is provided by your ISP. ISP is internet service provider. Okay, so if you want to connect to internet, you will always contact to internet service provider that are in your area. So I have only here there are now three things. The third thing is that you opened a process on your host machine, and that process is running at a specific location, a specific number, and that process number is given by something called a port number. Okay, so there are three things: network, host, and inside a host, when a process is running, this process is running at a particular but this process is identified by a particular number, and that particular number is called a port number. Okay, so what you do,
Sir,
you what about?
sir, what about the incoming and outgoing packets between the request that post sends?
I am coming to that. It's just I am opening a browser, and browser is running on a particular port number. Only this. Okay, so this is only a machine. Okay, I'm coming to that. Now, what you do, you open a computer or you open a browser. So this is your web browser. Now this is a process that is running on your computer, and on this web browser, what you do, you type www dot which site you want to do. Okay, so it can be google.com, it can be anything. Okay, so now what happens is that suppose you want this is your client or your host. Okay, so this is just a computer. So when you are requesting a service, okay, so when you are going to the web browser, you are requesting a services to google.com. Okay, so what happens is that from your computer, it goes towards a particular network. It goes towards a particular network. Suppose this network is associated in Japan. Okay, so the nearest Google server that is available to you is in Japan, and there the network that is present there is Docomo. Okay, so in that particular Docomo network, there are again many hosts will be connected there. Okay, so many hosts that will be connected here. I'm talking about a particular host. Okay, so now this particular request will go towards the network of Japan, and going towards it will go towards a particular host. Okay, so this is a particular host, and then it will go towards a particular process. Okay, so this particular thing is called your server. Now what is a server? Now what is a server and what is a host. Okay, so there is very less difference between a server and a host. Your host machine can also act as a server. Okay, so what is the meaning of a server? That any machine that can provide services to your to the host is called a server. Okay, so if you're seeing everything is same here, this is just your computer, this is also other computer, but it is providing services to this computer. So this is a computer, but it is acting as a server. Okay, so this is the server that is established by a particular company, and now the company name is Google here. Okay, so there are again many networks here, that lies in the area. So I am specifically choosing this particular network because this particular network is very near to me. Okay, so suppose this is in New York and this is in Germany. Okay, so the server that is near to me, I will contact that server. Okay, so now understand, uh, there are two things now. What is a host and what is a server? Okay, so host is anything that will request a service. Okay, so server is anything that will provide a service to the host. Okay, so now again, now what you see here, again one process is running, and this process name is called as, suppose I'll call it as a server. Okay, so whatever is requested by the user, it will again go back towards the same path and go back towards the, first it will go towards the network, and then it go towards the host, and then it go towards a particular process. Okay, now see, uh, the first thing, that how do you know that which network to go? Okay, so there are many networks exist. This is network 1, this is network 2, this is network 3. Okay, so first of all, if you are requesting a services, you first of all need to know that what is the network ID of a particular network. Okay, second thing, when you reach at a particular network, you should be able to access the particular host. Okay, so second thing is that you have to know about the host ID. Okay, so host ID means that in a particular network there are many hosts that are connected to this network, but I want to go to a particular host where the service is hosted. Okay, so there are two things. First thing is network ID to go to the particular network. The second thing is your host ID to go to the particular host that is present in, there are many hosts in the network, so go to the particular no host. And the third thing is to go to the particular port number to access the service. Okay, so because I know this particular thing is related to internet, and it is going towards HTTP, because if you see here, wherever you type anything, there will always be a HTTP. I know because this is a well-defined port. The port number is 80 here. Okay, so there are many well-defined ports that are already defined, like you have seen like this FTP. For FTP it is 25, for some
80,
well-defined ports already. Yeah.
sir, 80 is for telnet, right? Is it for HTTP?
It's for HTTP, I think.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir, so when the host is you opening up the browser in Google, so the server it'll provide Google services, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So now if you're thinking about this, this is a very long process, and it will only take about 19 to 20 milliseconds. It does not take more than that. Okay, so when you type www.google.com in your web browser, the packet from your computer goes hundreds and thousands of miles towards a particular host, towards a particular network, and get back the response towards hundreds and millions of I should say hundreds and thousands of miles back to your computer in just 19 to 20 milliseconds. Okay, so that process seems to you that it is taking a very less amount. Now 1 second is also a very big amount of time, but millisecond is a very less amount of time. I think it is 10 raised to power -6 or -9, something like that. Okay, so I'll discuss about these things, the round trip time, everything will be discussed in quite a bit of detail in this manner. Don't worry about this. I'm just introducing you to the basic term that will be used throughout. Okay, so first thing that you have to know that what exactly is the network ID. Second thing that you exactly have to know that what exactly is the host ID. Okay, so for a communication, if you are seeing here, for a communication I need a network ID and I need a host ID, and to be more specific I also need a port number. But I already said that the port numbers are well defined. So if you are requesting for internet services, there are well defined port that are already defined by ISO. So that this is a less ambiguous part. We know that at which service, at which port a particular service is running. So the basic part that I want to stress on that is your network ID, that I want to know my network ID and I want to know my host ID. So there are just two things that I want to know that when I am communicating with other devices. Okay, so combining these two is called your IP address. Okay, so one IP address contains both of these things. Okay, suppose I'll tell you this is an example of a IP address. Okay, so suppose 198.168.123.14. Okay, so this is a classic example of a IP address. Okay, so if you're seeing here, 4 octets are there. Everything is defined in numeric. There are 4 octets. Okay, don't worry about it. What is octet? What is something? Don't worry about it. We will discuss this in detail in subnetting part. So don't worry about it. Again, before going into the detail of it, there are some parts. If you are from computer science background, if I think you also have an operating system in your course syllabus. Okay, so if you see the module 3 part here, there is some topic called as a subnetting and supernetting. Okay, so if you understand subnetting in computer networks, you will understand paging and segmentation in OS. Okay, so these both of these topics are related to each other. Okay, so I'll tell you that there are some concept of computer networks that are also discussed in another subject. Don't worry about it. I will discuss the concept here deeply. Okay, so I am not worried about OS. I am only worried about the subnetting that is covered in CN. Also, there are some shortest path algorithms. Okay, so there are also shortest path algorithm that will be discussed in your, if you have design and analysis of algorithm, that will also be given in more detail in this particular subject. Okay, so both of these are interrelated to each other. If you understand this in CN, it will be very easy for you to understand it in OS. If you understand this in CN, it will be very easy for you to understand it's in DAA subject. Okay, so keep in mind this is again in module 3. So most probably the paging part will also be in your module 3 part of OS. Okay, so again, if some particular thing is related to other subject, don't worry about it. I will cover that part also in this subject. Okay, start from the basic and we go to the very advanced. Okay, so now IP address contain two things. This IP address is the containing two things. First is your network ID and second is your host ID. Okay, so depending upon the number of classes, the octet will vary, that with which how big is this network ID and how big this is this host ID. Don't worry about that. We will discuss this particular thing in detail in subnetting. So just understand that your IP address, what you're seeing IP address, from your IP address, I can know about a particular network ID, and I can know about a particular host ID. Okay, so host ID and network ID is a combination of the network internet protocol address. IP address is a combination of both of these two. Okay, so there might be a question in your mind that when because if you see here, you will be thinking that here on the browser I have written www.google.com. so if I'm calling this a IP address, this should be the IP address, because from the basis of this you are going to a particular server, particular network and a particular server. So how do I know that to go which particular server, to which particular host, to which particular network based on only one address that is given by me in the web browser, that is just www.google.com. Okay, so exactly this is also a IP address. Okay, so now you will be confused that how this is the IP address, because I already told you that this is an example of a IP address. Now I am calling this www.google.com. I'm calling this also IP address. So how is this possible? So this should be your doubt. Okay, so now what happens is that suppose I have made a website, and my website and I told you that the address of my website is 224.223 and 1.123. Okay, so I'll tell you that I have made a website. Please go towards this IP address that is given, that I will give you. Suppose I give this address to 160 people, and I told you to visit this website and just give me your reviews, that how do you find my website, that I've made a good website, or is there any problem. Out of this 160 people, they no one will remember the IP address that is given to them by me, because we are not able to remember large amount of numbers in our head. So we are good with alphabets, but we are not good with numbers. So what happens is that there is something called a domain name system. Okay, it is most popularly known as a DNS. Okay, so if you have hosted a website, you must most definitely uh, you most definitely have heard about this term. What is a DNS? Okay, so what DNS do is it's just a library. Okay, so what exactly is this? When we give www.google.com, so there is a DNS. This DNS maps this IP address into your actual IP address that is in the form of numbers. Okay, so if you're seeing, if you type www.google.com, there will be a DNS system, domain name system, that actually convert this alphabetics into numbers. Okay, so that is the function of your DNS. Okay, just let me see if anybody has any doubt in the chat. Okay, so please decide the number of quizzes to be taken right now. It causes too much confusion later on, just like last semester. Okay, so Sridhar, Vijay Kumar, the number of quizzes that will be taken is 3. Okay, so I have decided right now it will be 3. Any other question? Is there a lab assignment coming up? Yeah, it will be mentioned in your lab if you have attended a lab. That will be they will be, the teachers at that lab will describe all the instructions, and also the lab assignment is given on LMS. You can get familiar with the problem. Shashwat Singh Raghav is asking best of. Okay, so if there are 3 quizzes, it will be best of 2. Okay, any other doubt? How DNS know which is best Google server to connect to? Yeah, that is a very valid question. Okay, so actually Aryan, that DNS does not know anything to connect to which server. That is the task of these layers. Okay, so if you're seeing, there are so many things going on. So the first thing will be that if you're seeing here the physical aspect of it. Okay, so how the actual, if you're seeing here, I'm saying that when you type something, the packets from your website goes towards your hundreds and thousands of miles towards another location and come back hundreds and thousands and of miles, and the speed is like it will take around 19 to 20 milliseconds. So how it is possible is there are so many components present here. The first component here will be your physical medium. Okay, so the physical medium means that what kind of a medium you use for communication. The most basic medium is wires. That wires are also how the effective the wires are, the effective your communication will be. Okay, so the most effective wire that we right now use is fiber optic. Okay, so fiber optic has various advantages, but there are also disadvantages also, because it is very prone to disconnection. It is very prone to disconnection at various time, because it is not a very tough wire. It just breaks under wire. So there are also a hybrid of these wires that are taken there. Okay, so now the question is that how the task of this DNS is only to convert a google.com into a IP address. Okay, so now what exactly is going on if the because if you are thinking, there are also many medium present here, so there will be various kind of router, there will be various kind, if I say that from sender, when I'm sending a packet, there will be various kind of router present in the path, various kind. Okay, so every router is leading towards another thing. Okay, so still I am at here, which path to follow, which router path to follow, which anything path to follow, so that it can lead to a minimum amount of time to get back the response. Okay, so all of these things are defined in your network layer. Okay, so all of these things, the routing, the switching, the path to follow, everything is defined in your network layer. That is the third layer of your OSI model. Okay, so I'm just giving you a brief description that how exactly what exactly a communication is, and how these two devices communicate. Okay, so if you will see, if you have attended the first lab, you will see that in the simulation part there will be 7-layer given. There will be 7-layer given in the simulation part. So for sender perspective there will be 7 layers, so for receiver perspective there will be 7 layer. I know that you do not understand anything right now, so don't worry about this part. I am just giving you a little bit of an introduction, that just understand this, what exactly is a IP is a combination of a network layer as well as a host layer. And what exactly is a DNS? DNS is a domain name system that converts the alphabets to a numeric part. Okay, so how exactly do I know which path to follow, which is the nearest server, which is the most nearest server to you for a particular service? That I will not discuss right now, because it will get a whole lot confusing here, because we are just starting it. Okay, so everything will be discussed systematically. Okay, so when I got to network layer, I will tell you that, because there are 3 different types of routing. Okay, so there are 3 different types of routing, which routing is the best and which routing is used nowadays. Okay, so don't worry about that part. Okay, so just let me see if there is any other question. Okay, so I don't think there is any other question. Okay. Now, again, when if you take a new laptop or a new smartphone, you will see what happens is that when we are communicating with other devices, suppose when we are at here at the network, and you are here at you are the only host. Okay, so now I'm saying that there is something called a DNS that is present here. When your IP address goes towards this DNS, and this DNS return some IP address that is given in the numeric format, and then all the things are covered. Okay, so all the things to go to which particular destination network ID, to which particular host, all the things they just they just have done been here. But if you see that when I'm typing the address, this particular thing goes over here. Okay, so the DNS, to provide the DNS is the task of your internet service provider. Okay, so they will always provide you a DNS server that will automatically convert your IP addresses to your alphabetical IP addresses to your numeric IP addresses. But if you're seeing, this particular thing is a overhead. Overhead means that we do not require this step. It is taking a large amount of time because I again have to go towards the DNS and the DNS will return something. So it is adding to the cost of uh, of time. Okay, so it is taking a little bit of time, so that the 19 and 20 millisecond will be further increased. Okay, so if you are seeing that what exactly is the job of a network architecture, is so that the user just knows that when we are communicating. So suppose actually when you are communicating with other devices that are very far away from you, when you are communicating with them, you just seems to know that the particular device is very near to you because the response is very less. Okay, so the job of the network engineer is just you do not be aware of the complexities of the network, but you just know that it is the same device is very near to you. Okay, so I just want to say it very, I just want to say that in a very simple language that I just want to say that if you studied in OS also, there is something called inter-process communication. Okay, so my job as a network architecture, or if I'm designing a network architecture, I'll design in such a way so that the user is not aware of the complexities of the network, that there are so many things that is going on between the communication. I just know when I send a message, I will receive the message in 19 to 20 milliseconds. Okay, but this DNS is adding a overhead time here, so it is again increasing. By increasing the time, the experience just is not well, because if when you are using internet, sometimes it does not it just does not load. So at the time you will be thinking that my packet is gone, where it is taking so much time, why the internet is not working. Okay, so now what exactly how to remove this overhead is when if you see that when you have taken a new device like a new computer or a new smartphone, when you first load the internet, it will take a little bit of time. Okay, so it will take a little bit more time than usual. It will be noticeable to you. Okay, so it will be noticeable to you, but after like 10 or 15 minutes, it does not take any amount of time. So what happens is that how to get rid of this overhead, the domain name system is stored within your web browser. Okay, so if you're using Chrome or if you're using internet browser, internet explorer, anything, they just store all the DNS server to your web browser, and that is how your overhead is removed. Okay, so that is why when you get a new device, okay, so when you get a new device, it will take a little bit of amount of time to load the initial IP addresses, but after that it will be smooth. Okay, okay, so this is what exactly the a DNS is. So you know there are some terms that I have already covered. The first term is IP. Yes, yes.
So can you explain the overhead once
Okay.
again?
So yeah. So now I'm saying that what exactly is the overhead. So every time when a host want to communicate with the other server, so every time this particular www.google.com, that is your IP address, will be converted into a numerical IP address. Okay, so every time when you type something, it will go towards the domain name system, and from that domain name system it will extract out the numeric IP address, because the computer only understand numeric IP address, it does not understand alphabet, but we understand alphabets. Okay, so the domain name server maps the alphabet numeric IP address to a numeric IP address. Okay, so every time when I type, it will always go toward DNS and it will return. So this particular thing is overhead. Overhead means that is something bad that I do not need, that always I have to go. So it will again add a time, add a time to a communication that is also that is very efficient. Okay, so if I'm saying that only 90 to 20 millisecond is required to a communication, if the DNS server I always have to go to a DNS server, that time will considerably be increased. So how to get rid of it, how to get rid of this overhead is that when if you have seen that if you have taken a new device, okay, so Always observe that when you take a new device like your like a new smartphone or a new laptop, when you type a particular IP address into it, suppose you want to type a google.com, it will take a longer amount of time than usual. Okay, so always when the first time, it will take a longer amount of time of usual, because the DNS server, it is going towards the DNS server and extracting a IP address from it. Okay, so after 10 or 15 minutes, this DNS server is stored into your particular web browser that you are using. Okay, so it means that this overhead is now gone. Okay, so it is just taking the DNS, because DNS is not a very long list, it's a very small list. It is stored in your it can be easily stored in your web browsers, and from that web browser, when you type anything, it can automatically extract the numeric part of it and it can do a communication. Okay, so this overhead is now removed. Okay, so this is just extra part that I have told you, but just you want to know that now we have studied IP. In this particular, IP is a combination of network ID and a host ID. Okay, don't worry about it, what exactly it is, what is, how subnetting is formed. Don't worry about it, I will discuss it in quite detail.
Okay,
And the second thing that we have discussed is that what exactly is a DNS. Okay, so there is another term that is called yes, yes.
So my request, please can you go a little slower because it's like too
Hello,
much of a pace to understand for me.
again, can you repeat what I do?
So please can you go a little slower?
Okay, I'll go slow. So I have just discussed only three things. First thing is IP address. IP address is just a combination of network ID and a host ID. Okay. Second thing is a DNS. The purpose of DNS is to convert alphabetical IP address into a numeric IP address. Okay, so only these two things are discussed here, not more than that. And the third part is your protocol. Okay, so protocol is nothing, it is just a collection of rules. Okay, set of rules, I will say this, set of rules that are governing the communication. Okay, so just a definition. Okay, so most of the time you will be seeing this particular term very in high amount of times. Okay, set of rules that are governing the communication. Okay, so just protocol, when you see a protocol, it means that it is a set of rules. Okay, so
Time's up, sir.
okay, so okay, you can go towards on the next lecture. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.